All sports, all plays. Yeah. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. 365, we making a plays. You talking the game, get you through the days. We're high in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety topics, living the same. All presentation, sports information. In the airways, taking the nation. All sport, all plays, like working your faces. Grace at the field, so tie the laces. All sports, all plays. Yeah.
All right. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the ASAP Afternoon Blitz. I'm Chris Gonzalez, joined by Jay McLovin and Deontay Kelly. Got a lot to talk about today. What's going on, Jay?
Man, what a time to be alive. Good God, it's great. You look, we got NBA starting tonight. We got the Yankees finally playing tonight. It's going to be phenomenal. Phenomenal. Let me just say one thing, if I will. For those Laker fans that are out there, and you know who you are, how do you start the first game of the season with three guys being day-to-day? I'm just saying, Westbrook, Davis, James, you're day-to-day. And then we haven't even played a freaking minute in the new season, and already we're talking day-to-day. You're playing D&D. You're playing D&D. Everybody's playing D&D. Time to be alive. Let's go.
What's up, Deontay? How you doing today?
I'm good, Chris. You know, it was a sad win that we got yesterday as the Chargers. So I'll take it. We 4-2. We play like that, and we're tied for the 1 seed in the division. That's all that matters. But Kansas City got the tiebreaker, so we're just going to have to see them later on in the season. But we got a struggle game. We got to go against Seattle this Sunday.
It don't matter if it's pretty win or ugly win. They all count the same.
Absolutely.
See, I hate when people love you guys. I hate when they say that. Look, Jonathan, I just want to know that when people say that to you, there's a saying that we have in the South, and it says, bless their heart. And if you don't understand that, that's sarcastic for saying, get the fuck out of here.
Hey, we got
so when I say bless your heart to the Chargers, just know that at some point in your life you realize the writing's on the wall, and basically you're living for next season. Do with that information as you will.
I disagree. Hey, as long as we get Bosa's going to come back later on in the season, Allen's going to come back later on in the season. Those are two key players. When Bosa come back, our defense and pass rush is going to play a little bit better. J.C. Jackson, oh man, I ain't got nothing.
Even at game one, and when you had all these guys, you were still quite the letdown versus the Chiefs. Do with that if you will.
Actually, Allen got hurt during the Chiefs, and we played a very solid game. We beat ourselves against the Chiefs. If Brandon Staley would have seen Everett tap his helmet, because we had no reason we're running a no huddle offense, and we just gave the ball to Eckler, we would have scored and we would have won that game. That pick.
You know, Deontay, when I listen to you talk, it's how I used to talk when it was with the Cowboys on the 10th season after this last Super Bowl, and you would be a great Cowboys fan. I'm just saying, you'd fit right in. What a time to be alive. What a time to be alive. Jesus.
Hey, Chiefs lost to the Colts and the Bills. We lost to the Chiefs and the Jaguars. So I'm pretty sure we both lost to some crappy teams. So it happens.
But here's my question about last night's game. The Broncos come out in the first quarter, put up 10. Damn it, came
They went 10 for 10 for
10 straight
119 yards.
10
One
straight
touchdown.
points. Russell Wilson was hitting every
I
throw.
remember.
And then after that, it just all went to hell for them.
He went 5 for 16
it-
after the first quarter.
Is it Russell Wilson? Is it Hackett? What's going on over there in Denver where they're not clicking?
I watched the full game. I don't know if Jay or you guys did. I watched the full game.
Yeah, I watched it all.
I feel like it's a mixture of both.
That's what I was going to say. I think it's Hackett's
totally
play calling,
50-50.
and I think it's Russell Wilson. But you also got to understand too. I want to give Russell Wilson just a little bit of slack because, like I said, he did have the quad injury in the fourth, and he did get cortisone injections in his back for that torn lat. And a torn lat is a pretty significant thing when you're throwing the ball.
That's true.
So I do want to you got to give him a little bit of slack.
He was running for his life.
Honestly, I think it's more Hackett than it is Russell Wilson, to be honest.
I think Hackett, I say the reason I say it's fit for Hackett, he's been calling terrible plays. I don't get why you start at I love what he did. After that, I seen he was running the ball majority of the time. He stopped passing the ball, took Russell Wilson out of a funk. But I think also I'm going to give Brandon Staley, I'm going to give him some love too about last game. He made the hard decision in the halftime instead of keeping J.C. Jackson in, which is, I think, top 2 highest paid corners in football right now because he's been playing pretty bad and he got abused because he had it was a 3rd and 10 and he got a pass interference call. He got the touchdown called on him because they was running the zone and he went to the other side. And he also before halftime was over with, where Russell Wilson threw that bomb to, I think it was Hamler or Judy. That was J.C. Jackson. I was supposed to cover him, and he let him go past him. Staley benched J.C. Jackson instead of Mike Davis and put in Mike Davis. Asante Samuel Jr. and Bryce Callahan played very good, and the secondary played better. But I think when they went to the play calling, and plus, when they realized, wait a minute, it's the Broncos, and they have no line, they just sent everybody at Russ, and Russ couldn't make a throw. But there was a few key throws where dudes were open that Russ missed. So Russ underthrew a lot of balls.
I get that too. I get that too. But also Herbert, played worse.
Yeah, Herbert played bad
than Wilson did, and Wilson had a torn lat and a jacked up hamstring. But he gave you a touch, and he didn't turn the ball over, whereas Herbert turned the ball over. And I will tell you, a lot of the problem for Denver was they just didn't have much of a rushing game either. They only, I think, 4 people ran, and they only got 98 yards on 23 carries. So a little bit was a rushing game. A little bit was a rushing game. But
they
again, at the very end, the game went to overtime, and and the fact that we pushed you to overtime. I mean, I think it looks worse on the Chargers than it does on the Broncos.
Actually, if you look at the Broncos defense is arguably a top 3 defense in football. The Broncos this whole year has not let a team score over 20 points on them. I get Justin Herbert played bad. Don't get me wrong, but also I'll say that pass rush Justin Herbert was running for his life too. Like it's the difference between Russell Wilson and Herbert is Herbert just threw it away. He got a quick release. Wilson, they was at his face.
Have you ever seen that many pass interference calls in one game?
I think I like to say Darwin Mathis.
Mathis had 4 in the first half.
He had 4 total. Could have had 5.
Hey, let me just say this. I think the biggest thing for me was, and the reason why I say it looks worse for the Chargers than it does for the Broncos, is the fact that you guys got 24 first downs and you ran 83 plays versus the Broncos 55, but yet you only got them by 3 and it was in overtime. Let that sink in for a minute.
Hey, all I'm going to say is, you know how I feel about Staley. I say what I told you. I think Staley, after this, I was listening to Skip and Shannon, and I was thinking the same thing. I said, if I was the Chargers, and I don't care how this goes, Staley got to go, and I'm calling Sean Payton. I'll beg for him to get out of retirement. Because
Yeah,
I think
honestly, Austin Eckler looked like garbage too, man. He only got 36 on 14. That's
Broncos is a very
2.6
solid
yards.
defense, Jay. They're probably better than Dallas's defense.
I know, but I think a lot of that though was the fact that Herbert just could not get enough going in the passing game to keep Denver's defense, honest, which again closed up the hole on Eckler. So I think
Herbert
a lot of
made
that had to do with the offensive coordinator and Herbert and the receivers just not getting it done.
I think that's also the key of missing Keenan Allen. Keenan Allen's banged up. You got Parham. You got Rashawn Slater.
It was a lot of
the Chargers caught a lot of holding calls. Zion Johnson, our rookie, had 4 holding calls. 2 of our rookies had like 8 holding calls total. The Chargers got a lot of holding calls when Eckler was trying to keep going. And honestly, I think our line is the reason our offense is looking like this, because Rashawn Slater being gone is a big part. Corey Lindsey was out. Then our second string got out, and we have to go on our third string center. It's just
and you think all these issues with the injuries, and you think you still got a chance to get to the Super Bowl?
You think y'all got a chance to get to the Super Bowl?
Oh no, I never said that. I never said. Don't put words in my mouth, because I said from day one my expectation was just to get the wild card. So Deontay, do your research on me before you start quoting me, okay? Damn it! What a time to be alive.
Hey, there's always a chance that we the same record as the Chiefs. We're in the same boat. We're the same record right now.
No, you're not in the same
Chiefs
boat.
gotta go to
You're
San
not even in the
Francisco.
same life raft. You don't even have the same life preserver or floaties
First
on,
off,
okay?
You want me to tell you something? I think people scared to say it because it's the Chiefs, Andrew Pat Mahomes. But I've been watching them as hard as I've been watching the Chargers, because I just want to see if there's like a big gap from the Chiefs and everybody else. It's not the gap. It's really Buffalo and everybody else. I changed my pick. I think Buffalo is going to beat the brakes off of us if we have to go through them.
But Buffalo beats the brakes off a lot. I think when Tua comes back from Miami, I think we'll see a completely turnaround Miami team.
Yeah,
and I think you need to be looking out for Miami once Tua comes back into it.
I'm worried about Miami, but I'm just saying the Chiefs can't get no separation off the receiver. Only thing is Travis Kelce. They really can't run the ball. Clyde Edwards-Helaire, they're like in their defense is still the same defense. Chris Jones is still solid. I'm never going to disrespect Chris Jones, but the secondary without Tyrann Matthews, you can see they're missing it. Like nobody worried about Chiefs. When I seen the blueprint of beating the Chiefs and the Colts had the blueprint, all it is just the Chiefs cannot gain any separation, and the Colts had a. And you
ready for this, Deontay? Hey, Deontay, I'm hitting you in the face now. I think Breece Hall and the Jets could beat you.
The Jets are a very solid team. I'm not going to say that.
Just saying, hey, I think Breece. Hey, that Breece Hall, if he don't get Rookie of the Year, I swear I'm gonna slap.
Hey, he's on my fan. Yeah, he's on my fantasy.
I hate the Jets, but I'm just saying.
He's on my fantasy. I think the Jets is going to the play. I think the Jets is a very solid team. I'm worried because our next 2 games are Seattle, another solid team, and the Jets, another solid team. But I'm not worried because this week the Chiefs got to go in San Fran. And I don't think the Chiefs can go to San Francisco and win.
Hey, Damian, the only thing Hackett's learning is how to lose. I think you give him a year or 2 and he's out.
If we get Jim Caldwell, I like that pickup, Damian. I do.
I think Hackett's out after this season. I think they'll give him one full season, but I don't think he'll be back next season.
Hackett's done, and they're going to see the Russell Wilson experience if it was him and Russell Wilson next year. And if they don't do what they're – did y'all notice the Broncos every game this season have not scored more than 3 points in the fourth quarter?
Well, I don't think like they were talking about I believe we were talking on the After Dark show last night that Hackett really wasn't running that offense over there. He was just kind of sitting back, and LaFleur was really kind of more so running that team than Hackett was when he was.
Honestly,
there.
You want me to tell you something? I think it was just Aaron Rodgers. Because LaFleur looks like he sucks too. I think it was really Aaron Rodgers, Devontae Adams.
Man, Aaron Rodgers looked like dog poo-poo against the Jets, boy. And they talk about,
it was the Giants. I'm not going to lie,
what did Aaron say? I'm going to retire at the end of the year.
You think the Giants better than the Cowboys?
Do I think the Giants are better than the Cowboys? No, we already beat them this year. What are you talking about? Get off the show and go see somewhere else.
No, but there's some people. No, I think y'all better than the Bucks, and y'all lost to the Bucks.
I know, man. That pissed me off, that whole Bucks thing. Jesus, that made me mad. But you know what? It is what it is. We're gonna be all right. Hey, the big testament is when Dak comes back. Hopefully, he comes back
Yeah, I
against
think
the
that's the
Packers in
key.
Week 10.
Y'all
That's what
missed
I'm really
Dak
kind of
last
hoping.
week. Y'all missed Dak Sunday night. I think that was the biggest thing. Dak would
Remember
have put
today
Well,
more. Dak would have put more than 20. More than 17.
No.
points
We
up.
definitely missed that because if you watch that game, Cooper rushed through 3 interceptions, and out of those 3 interceptions, the majority of those interceptions, when caught, was still in Dallas territory, and it pretty much put the Eagles in scoring position 2 out of the 3 times. And so, when you're putting them already in scoring position, it's very hard to beat a team. When your quarterback is putting them in scoring position right off the
That's
cuff.
fact.
So, yeah, I agree. I think if Dak was there, I think the Cowboys could have beaten the Eagles because I don't think that Dak's going to turn the ball over 3 times. Certainly not in the Cowboys' territory.
That's his best trait. He doesn't turn the ball over.
That's my point. So I think that would have been a very different game. Look, if you look at that game, we lost by what, 9 points. That's a 2-possession game. And I think again, 2 possessions, and then of course we gave them the 2 possessions in the scoring zone. You take those 2 scoring possessions away, and we're winning. So yeah, and again, we're going to see that in the revenge game because I think Dak comes back Week 10 against the Packers. I think they ride Cooper Rush against Detroit. I think they ride him against Chicago. Then we go into the bye. Then we got the Packers Week 10. I think that's when you see Dak come back. And I think the Packers are the tune-up game because the following game after the Packers is the Vikings, and that's when we get our first real test before we link up in Week 16 with the Eagles.
Man, the Vikings, they're crazy
From
right now.
From what I've been reading and hearing, they're going to probably play Dak this week.
They shouldn't.
I think
if they're smart, they shouldn't.
Yeah, I think that'd be a
They
mistake.
don't have to pay him right now. I don't understand. Let him get fully healed. Why are you trying to rush him back against Detroit or Chicago? Let that man heal for 3 more weeks and then bring him back. God,
Yeah,
please.
Detroit and Chicago is pretty bad.
Come on, man.
But I think also what they're trying to do too is to bring him back like in a game. Don't bring him back in a game like this. You need the marbles. I think that's what they're thinking about at that moment. A game where you need Dak to be Dak. I think they're trying to ease him back in because Detroit and the Bears, those are basically. Do y'all know the Bears got a Monday night game this
week?
know
what?
Yeah, Bears are on primetime again this week. I don't understand why the Bears and the damn Broncos are been on primetime like every damn week. I'm tired of seeing them.
Yeah, it's been horrible. Monday and Thursday night games have just been. I mean, I haven't really hardly watched it because I watch it for a little bit and then I get so bored with it. I start thinking Game of Thrones.
No, because they were saying, okay, the Colts. Everybody was talking about the Colts versus the Broncos. There was like, there's no game that can be worse than that. Then you see the Bears versus the Commanders. It was awful. And then I don't think it's a good Thursday night game this week.
No, who's got the Thursday night this week? Do we know?
I forgot. I said it the last episode, but
Hold on, I'll tell you. Let me hold up here real quick. I can't remember. It is these New Orleans Saints at the Arizona Cardinals.
Oh my
God. Saints and who?
Cardinals.
I mean, it's a little bit better, but still not good enough.
Yeah, D-Hop comes back for the Cardinals.
That's the only thing that would make that game good is to see D-Hop back on the field.
The Cardinals got Robbie Anderson now. Maybe that helps Kyler Murray.
Yeah, Robbie Anderson going to help. He ain't going to help him any more than Marquise Brown helped him. Come on, Deontay.
I think Marquise Brown was a little bit better than Anderson myself.
That's my point. What's going to help them is getting D-Hop back. That's what's going to help them.
Hey,
I'm saying you still got that number.
We have on Sunday night this week.
Huh?
Guess who the Sunday night game is this week?
Who?
Oh shit!
Steelers and the Dolphins.
Oh damn!
Without Tua?
No, Tua be playing that game.
Yeah, Tua's going to be playing this week.
Oh, he's about to get his belt.
Dolphins will get that. Dolphins will get that win, even though Trubisky.
Hey, let me ask you this real quick before we move on. Talk a little baseball before we talk some NBA, since NBA kicks off tonight. But do you think the Dolphins are bringing Tua back too quick?
Yes. You got Teddy. Is Teddy Bridgewater the starter right now?
He played I think
he got hurt his third string.
No, I think you bring Tua back. I think if he cleared percussion protocol, you got to bring him back. You got to bring him back.
I don't know.
He's been out long enough.
I'd say it'd be 2 to 3 weeks, and he's been out almost 3. So I think that I don't think they would rush him back after what happened, because if they did, it would make him look even worse than what they already have. So I think they've been cautious with them. So if they're bringing him back, I think
They bring him back.
ready.
I don't know. Yeah, that's because the Dolphins, I'm not going to lie, that's one of the teams that I'm like, okay, they can possibly beat Buffalo if they're fully healthy. Because you got to realize, they're still missing Byron Jones from an injury. He's supposed to come back later on this season. They'll mix him with him, and the combo him and Xavier Howard is going to be very well. Their defense is going to be healthy. I like their tight end. I like Waddle Hill. They got a speed team. Cedric Wilson, they got a speed team, and I think they did that for it.
Deontay, you know who I feel the most empathy for, and I just feel like I just want to pull him aside and be like, bruh, retire, is Tom Brady. I feel so bad for Tom. I feel bad for Tom because, number one, he's not going to get a Super Bowl, which is the only reason why he came back. And number two, he's also going to lose Giselle. And I just want to be like, Tom, bro, give it up. Just retire. Walk away from the game. Nobody's going to hate you. Walk away and go save your marriage.
How bad the Bucs look. How bad the Bucs look. They might not make the playoffs.
Bro, how are you going to lose out on Giselle? I'm not – look, I got 7 rings. I got money in the bank. I'm out of here. Deuces. And I'm going to go find Giselle. And I'm going to
I think he just loves football. He just loves football. I think it's hard for him to quit.
And he already has a TV job waiting on him.
He's addicted. I think he's addicted to football.
He needs, man. Look, at some point you got to say, hey, at what point am I going to be the next Brett Favre and find myself on the Minnesota Vikings just wasting away a Margaritaville?
Yeah, he don't look. And this is the first year. This is the first year I could really say that he looks old.
He does.
You got to understand. If I tell you that he's not the GOAT, it doesn't mean that he's not the GOAT. If you're looking at past laurels, if you're looking at past things that he's done, yeah, overall he is the GOAT. But present day,
him and Rodgers been looking
right
horrible.
now. Tom's not the GOAT right now.
No,
him and Rodgers look terrible now.
They just look horrible, and I don't like to see a man who, is a legendary GOAT just go out the way he's going out. It's horrible. It's like watching somebody with ALS and there's nothing you could do to help them recuperate. They're just going down until they're nothing. Damn, Tom, go get Giselle.
And just looking at Tom, he looks thinner. You look at him, he looks older in the face now. He's not the same guy.
I like to say all the quarterbacks look old. Now you have Rodgers. Rodgers don't look like himself. Matt Ryan doesn't look like himself. You have Matt Stafford. I'm not gonna say he doesn't look like himself. He look like Detroit Stafford. He looks awful himself. Like all the quarterbacks look like that. Russell Wilson. They all look like they're past their prime now.
According to a source that the stat guy had, Aaron Rodgers has already told the Green Bay Packers that he's retiring after this season unless there's major changes done to the roster.
Yeah, that's what I just said. It's like he already came out and said, hey, if they don't make them changes, hey, I'm out of here. Well, you know what, Aaron? You should have known that when you asked for $50 million and they couldn't afford anybody else. So what the hell do you expect them to do?
I don't think it's all. I think Aaron's playing bad too, but I think Matt LaFleur just don't realize, hey, I have Aaron Jones and I have AJ Dillon.
The problem, they're getting away from the running backs, their best two weapons.
How about we run the ball down their throat and play action with Aaron Rodgers? Aaron Rodgers basically said, Aaron Rodgers said, I would like the offense to be more simple because he's not a motion guy. He's not the complex guy because he probably thinking my wide receivers can't make these plays like I want to. And he's saying he'll like more simple. You know what Matt LaFleur said? I don't know what simple is.
Yeah. He only knows what losing looks like.
I'm like, so you're telling me you'd rather just throw the ball to receivers? I'm not saying they suck. I'm saying they're not.
No, I will tell you, with the exception of Lazard and Cobb, the rest of them just are whatever. Garbage. Cobb is there because he's a really good in the slot guy. So he knows his.
Now you don't have him for 3 or 4 weeks.
Yes, exactly. And Lazard
He's a solid guy.
Lazard is really a number 2, but they have no choice but to put him at the number 1. But he really is a Michael Gallup type of guy who can make plays. They just don't have that clear number 1. And I think they thought that Christian Watkins, whatever his name is, that they got in the second round, I think they really wanted him to be the number 1. But his hands are like butter.
And 2, I'm not gonna lie, the defense is a little bit overrated. I just think Green Bay is. Remember back in the day, I think Green Bay think, okay, this is Aaron Rodgers from 2010, 2011. That's not the same guy where he can just put the team on his back. And 2, the wide receivers made plays, but also,
you know what's funny is I see Green Bay right now transitioning to a time when Green Bay was just the epitome of shit. Like before Brett Favre got there was a time when Green Bay was just awful. Like the Detroit Lions. And I see them slowly, slide down that slope.
And you'll be hearing all these Green Bay Packer fans whine, but they've been spoiled. You went from one all-time great quarterback to another all-time great quarterback.
You got 2 top 10 quarterbacks.
Yeah,
all the time.
And now they've been.
Brett Favre at his peak was arguably the best quarterback in football from like 96 to 99. And then you had from a decade where there was people saying Aaron Rodgers is the most talented quarterback to ever play.
Yeah, so I mean, they've been spoiled. Now they're going to go maybe look like the Lions, and you're going to hear them cry. I ain't going to feel bad for them. You've been spoiled for the last 20, 25 years. I don't want to hear it.
I think it's kind of funny. In 25 years, you've had arguably 2 of the best quarterbacks in the league, but yet you only got 2 Super Bowls.
I feel the same way about Pittsburgh. Like, I don't feel bad about Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh literally didn't have a Hall of Fame coach the past 40 years.
Yeah.
So that's why
Big Ben got you, 2 Super Bowls? So it's not, they doing all right.
I'm just saying, you imagine you come from Chuck Noll to Bill Cowher to now Mike Tomlin.
Yeah.
Now they're coming back to their senses.
I think the Steelers are going to be okay. I like Mike Tomlin, to be honest with you.
I think Mike Tomlin's a great coach.
I just think they need a quarterback, and they just don't have. They never had the heir apparent to Big Ben.
I think that's the problem too with Green Bay. I think I'm not
100% believer in Najee Harris either. I think Najee Harris.
I think the same thing too, though, with Green Bay. I think like Pittsburgh and Green Bay, they was in the same predicament. Like Pittsburgh, that's why Big Ben played so long. They didn't know what they was going to do without Big Ben. And I think Green Bay is thinking Jordan Love. We all know now. We came to the sense that Jordan Love is not the guy.
I knew Jordan Love wasn't the guy when they drafted him.
So I think they're trying.
I never trust a guy who has the word love as your last name because I think of Buddy Love, and I can't do it.
And now they're like, I don't know what I can do without Aaron Rodgers. So now they're both going to be like, only position they need is quarterback, which for a very long time was both their strongest position.
Yeah. I mean,
like
hell, it wouldn't be
no offense.
It wouldn't be the worst thing in the world, though, if Green Bay slid down to last place and they went out there and got the first pick and had the choice of Rodgers, Hooker, or Stroud to choose from. That would not be the worst case scenario for them. Matter of fact, it might be the best damn case because then you can probably trade out of Rodgers because I'm pretty sure Bryce Young is not a love. Same thing with Stroud and Hooker. I mean, those guys, they have intangibles. You know,
if I was the Steelers, I would just tank.
I would too.
I would tank for Young and Stroud, specifically Young. I hate Alabama, but Young is the best quarterback I've ever seen. I don't know,
man. Hey, listen. The more I watch Hooker from Tennessee, the more I am starting to believe that he's the real deal. Because if you can put 5 touchdowns on Bama and you can run for 56 yards on Bama, yeah, I'm going to say, okay, I got 385 in the air, I got 56 yards on the ground, and I got 5 touchdowns. You know what? And this is on Bama, for crying out loud.
Those 3 quarterbacks are very solid because C.J. Stroud is off the chain. Hayden Hooker, that's my Heisman front runner right now. But
I just think people
Bryce Young,
are looking
Jay,
over Hooker though. I think he doesn't get the respect that he honestly
I don't think
deserves.
so. I think he's a Heisman front runner, but Bryce Young, Jay, I don't know, man. That dude's different.
You say
Bryce
he's
Young got
different,
Alabama
but
on
you
his
know
back
what?
right
I
now.
don't think he's so different. I think he's a great quarterback. I think he'll do well in the NFL, but I don't think he's any better than Hooker. I really just don't, man.
Hooker's more physical. I think Hooker's stronger than Young.
Well, Hooker gives you mobility and through the air. Not that Bryce Young can't run. I'm not saying he can't, but I think the Hooker is a little bit more athletic than Young is.
I think Hooker's the most athletic, and Bryce Young, out of all them three, is the better passer. I think Stroud is a better deep ball thrower.
The thing with Stroud is, I think Stroud is just very unpolished. I think he has a lot of work to do to really graduate from the college to the NFL level. He's going to be a little bit of a project. He's got a great potential, but there's going to be a little bit of work you're going to have to put into him. You know what I mean?
They're going to be thinking, okay, you had Garrett Wilson before he was hurt. Garrett Wilson is playing solid in New York. You have Chris Olave, and obviously it's either between him or Hall offensive rookie of the year. Because Olave is balling out there in New Orleans. And
he's definitely – well, I don't know if he's balling, though, bro. He had the one game where he had 146. But if you look at the games after that, his numbers were a little bit more pedestrian. Now, granted, Winston was kind of hurt. They had Dalton as his backup. So that could be
when you got Andy Dalton as your quarterback.
I'm not going to say that. But
when you have Andy Dalton as your quarterback with me, you get the benefit of the doubt.
Oh, no, I understand what you're saying. And it's not like I don't agree with you. Yeah.
But I think, and then you still do. They have another dude that's like, I forgot, it's like Jackson something. Isn't he like the number one receiver in the nation that's supposed to be coming out from Ohio State? Like, they have a solid team. So they're going to probably.
But I'll tell you right now, though, with Ohio State, and I know we're kind of transitioning a little bit into college, but, when I look at Ohio State and I look at Michigan, I think Michigan, in my opinion, can actually probably beat Ohio. I think Michigan has been up against some tests. I think Michigan has been up against some tests, especially.
How you feel, Chris, because you're a Big Ten guy?
Well, I think it's going to be a hell of a game. I think Michigan has a chance to beat Ohio State.
Michigan runs the ball tremendously.
I think Ohio has played a lot of fluff teams, and I did not like the fact that a soft, weak Notre Dame actually put a pretty good game on Ohio. So that was kind of my first test when I look at that.
And Michigan went to Penn State and beat the brakes off of them. And the reason
So Ohio plays Penn State, I believe, in the next week or two. Actually, they play Iowa, then they play Penn State, and then they got Michigan. Game. They got Michigan at the end of the season. So Ohio is getting ready to go through their testing period, honestly. But I think that Michigan-Ohio game, that's going to be the true testament.
But that's always been Michigan, though.
Hey, listen, I will tell you right now, though. You know who I think has the best chance to win the national title? Is Taylor motherfucking C.
Yeah, Taylor Hooker plays like that. I ain't gonna lie. Whoever wins between Georgia, I think Georgia and Tennessee, that game is gonna be the test. I think because they're both in the SEC East. Whoever goes through them, like Alabama and Ole Miss, is the game of the West.
Yeah, and the reason I think
Tennessee and Georgia is the game in the East.
The reason I think Michigan's going to be able to beat Ohio State is exactly what Deontay brought up, the running game.
They got a crazy running game.
They can run that ball, and
they ran like 300 yards on Penn State.
They can eat that clock down and keep that explosive.
Yeah, and that's what I'm saying. Like, you kind of know what you got with Michigan because they have been tested a little bit more so than what Ohio has. Ohio has not really gone through that test.
I agree. They haven't been tested.
But I'm telling you, hey, this Iowa team they're getting ready to go against, then Penn State right after that, that's going to let you know exactly where Ohio is. I'm telling you right now, don't look past number 1, Tennessee. And I'm telling you guys, hey, listen, this is not going to happen this year. But I like that. I like this Ewers kid. Now, I know Archie Manning.
You talking about Quinn Ewers from Texas? Yeah. I seen him against Alabama before he got hurt.
Bro.
He is
Hey,
tough.
listen, that game – that game could have put Texas on the map in a big time had Ewers not gotten hurt. But I'm going to tell you, I really am extremely excited for next year because they're going to obviously have a quarterback battle between Manning and Ewers.
I'm going to be real. I don't think
Manning is better
than Ewers.
No, and again, I don't think so either because it's just his freshman year. But what I'm saying is,
he would have.
Obviously, Manning's going to get the backup spot. Ewers is going to have we should have the starter spot. But either way, I think Texas next year
is going to be.
Don't be surprised if you see Texas in the top 10. I'm just saying next year.
I wouldn't. I'm not. I'm not going to lie though.
And there's a chance, honestly, Texas isn't done yet either.
In my opinion. Like, you talking about Stroud, all of them, they're going to get drafted this year. Ewers is the first pick next year. He got first pick talent.
I think Texas, if, we still got a little more of the season left to play. So we're going to get a little bit more to see of Ewers. But I wouldn't be surprised if they made their way close to in the top 15 by the time the end of the college season rolls around. And I would not be surprised if they get in the top 10 next year.
What about a Pac-12 team? You don't see a Pac-12 team in the playoffs?
No, I don't. Oh.
USC
not with the 4 teams set. Now, when they expand, if they go 8, they go 12. Well, now that's a whole nother level. Now,
I think just the problem with the Pac-12 is they just don't play defense at all. And when they go against a team like that can play defense, they're like bad. Like they go outside.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off, brother. I was just all I was saying was I think, to finish off that statement and basically to say what Ron is saying, I don't think they need to go to 12. I think 8. I think 8 is the right number for where the playoffs should be.
That's why I think 8. And Ron, they're going to be going to that with the next couple years.
It's 12. It's supposed to be 12. They're going to have 12.
They're going to be going to 12. But
I think that's too many. I think 8 is the perfect amount. Well, because when you get down to 12, that really is, in my opinion, way too watered down. After 8, you're looking at some watered down teams, and that's just BS. I'm
not gonna lie, but 12, it's like, I think they're trying to do NFL playoffs too, because NFL playoffs is 12 teams.
Yeah, and me personally, and I just think that's too much. I think
it's 8.
8 is the right amount.
I think 8. I think all Power 5 schools, if they win their conference, should get in. In at-large schools. That's how I think. 8, because I believe every Power 5 school.
Because I think it's like, if you look at this year, I think a TCU should be in there. TCU just took out Oklahoma State at number 8. I think it's like a school like TCU should be, in the playoffs,
Yeah, I agree. Remember that one year TCU and Baylor should have been in.
Oh, man.
They were both
both, man.
And I think Ohio State won that year.
Man, hey, I just like how Bama's at 6. Can we get a hell yeah for Bama at 6?
You should have knew that, though. Tennessee, they were number 3 country. Tennessee was like number 8, and they lost by a field goal. They was going to give them 6. I honestly think Ole Miss is better than Bama.
Yeah.
I like Ole Miss. And I honestly,
we'll get to see that here in a few weeks.
Kentucky is a solid team, too. Watch out for Kentucky, too.
I just say, hey, can we also get a hell yeah for Utah taking out USC?
Lincoln
Can
Riley.
we get a hell yeah? What a time to be alive!
There was some good college games over the weekend with, like you said.
Hey, Gonzo, if you don't mind, I know you do the money line, you do the easy money, but I just want you to know that had you bet on my picks this week or last week, hey, you would have made some money because I picked Utah, Kentucky, TCU, and I picked Tennessee.
I ain't gonna lie, I made some money when TCU played Oklahoma. I said TCU was gonna beat them.
hey, I'm just saying, hey, Deontay, do you ever just think like, why didn't I put my money where my mouth was this one specific week? Damn it.
Hey, I've said that a lot.
Damn it.
I'll be thinking that too. I'm like, I know this game. I'm pretty sure. I'll be thinking like, they're gonna lose. It's at the it's the matchup.
You know what the problem is, Jay? But when you go, you put your picks and you put your money on it, then it don't hit.
No. You know what the problem is, Gonzo? The problem is I was gonna bet this week. The problem was that my wife has a GPS tracker on my computer, so she knows when I go into Navy Federal. Hey, I see you in the accounts. What you doing?
Oh, Clemson. You guys,
And
what
I'm
y'all
like,
think about
nothing,
Clemson?
baby. I don't know what you're talking about. I'm just here checking it out,
How y'all feel about Clemson?
I can't take out 35 cents without my wife knowing about it, and I got to show accountability. What a time to be alive, damn it.
How y'all feel about Clemson, though? Y'all think Clemson?
Man, fuck Clemson. They're soft, too.
They gotta go against Syracuse. And this is the first time Syracuse undefeated.
Hey, you know what? Hey, Syracuse. Okay, I know an L is an L, and I believe in that too. Don't get me wrong. But man, NC State, man, honestly, had they had their quarterback, their starting QB, we wouldn't be talking about Syracuse right now. And it just sucks.
I feel the same way about Wake Forest.
Quarterback goes down.
I feel the same way about Wake Forest when they lost to Clemson.
That was a good game for Wake Forest, though. Seriously.
But you got some pretty good games. You got number 9 UCLA this week going against Oregon, which is number 10th in the country. That's a solid game. You got Mississippi State versus Alabama.
Texas,
you got TCU. You got TCU versus Kansas State. You have Oklahoma. You said Texas versus Oklahoma State?
Yep.
I mean,
that's going to be badass. Hey, what is Oklahoma State? Where are they ranked at now?
They're 11.
They're 11th in the country.
So if Texas beats Oklahoma State, which I think they can, what would that then put?
Texas is going to be in the top 15. They'll be a top 15 school.
Yeah,
if Syracuse beat Clemson, Syracuse is going to go in the top 10. It's some pretty solid games. That ain't gonna happen.
I don't think Syracuse beats Clemson. Clemson sucks, but they don't suck that bad.
I just don't think Clemson has the offense yet to compete with the top level teams. That quarterback just isn't consistent enough.
Yeah, I agree with you. Wholeheartedly, I agree with you.
You got LSU going against Ole Miss.
Yep. I don't think LSU is going to be able to keep up with Ole Miss.
Ole Miss.
No, Ole Miss will take that
one. They put points on the board.
Yeah.
No, Ole Miss will take that one. I have no doubt that Ole Miss will take that. Wow, but hey, listen,
Minnesota, Penn State.
Hey, listen, if Texas can beat TCU, and TCU doesn't lose between now and Texas, and TCU is at 8, and if Texas beats Oklahoma State, they go to, like, say, top 15, then they take out a TCU is at 8. It's theoretically possible that Texas could get within the top 10 before the season's out. I mean, and that would put them in the rankings, should put them in the top 15 rankings come next year, which they could get into the championship level if they win out or if they win all their major,
I think that's why they're expanding. I think that's why they're expanding, because a lot of these teams, it will be hard. It's difficult. If you're not in the top 10, and like most of the time in the preseason rankings, there's no way possible you're going to get into the playoffs. You legit got, unless you're SEC school. I'm not saying that because it's the SEC's king, because it's like most of the time it's Alabama 1, Georgia 2. You got Florida always in the top 10. You got Ole Miss in the top 10. Texas A&M in the top 10 all the time. That's it. And the SEC is the only time you can just beat them schools that get to that top 4 seed. Unless you're like, it's very hard. You said Oregon will beat UCLA's undefeated, I think.
Hey, in actuality, Texas is actually favored to beat Oklahoma State. That's interesting.
Yeah, I think they're 7-point favorites.
Because Ewers came back. Remember, Ewers was out a couple games after they lost to Alabama because of ribs.
Bro, let me just say this real quick, and I want I just need your opinion on this. If Ewers doesn't get hurt, I really feel strongly that they beat Bama. Puts them. If they beat Bama, if Ewers never got hurt, I think Texas could be in the damn top 4.
No, if Ewers never got hurt, Texas will most likely be undefeated.
Yeah, and I think they go in top 4 because of all the ranked teams that they're playing.
I 100% agree. Because I think Texas, because Ewers, I think, has the talent that he can make every throw. Alabama's defense isn't the same like it used to. So, they got players, but I just think it's just a Bryce Young-led team. I think Nick is just relying on Bryce Young, because you see, without Bryce Young, they still run the ball like crazy. They can still do that.
So now I got a question for you, Deontay. I got a question for both of you. So Alabama's 6. If they don't rebound, and some people even have Alabama losing 1 or even 2 more games,
I got Alabama
Then-
losing to Ole Miss. I think
Hey,
that's
so let me ask you the question then, because we all know the political system of the NCAA. So when the rankings come out for the next season, where do they put Alabama?
they're still going to be number one.
Ain't that some bullshit?
They have the best recruiting class in football.
But do you see how that's bullshit though?
It
It's
is.
like, come on.
They're going to be in the top 4 at least. I'm not going to say number 1, but they're going to be in the top 4. They're never going to get out the top 10. I know that for a fact.
I do like
I think
Texas'
this is the
chances
first-
though next year. I think Texas has a really good shot to get back into really being a national title contender
I do too.
come next season.
Because not only they have Ewers and like you said, Arch Manning. Ever since they signed Arch Manning committed to go there, they've got a lot of other. They've got a lot of other other top
absolutely.
recruits that want to come play
Aren't
there.
they saying Archie Manning has like the highest quarterback rating since Andrew Luck?
Well, you know what's interesting is that at his high school, he broke Eli Manning's passing yardage,
and
he broke Peyton Manning's touchdowns. So he literally has outperformed both of his Super Bowl winning uncles.
One, his uncle is the best quarterback. His uncle is the
minute.
best quarterback to ever live, and some people's hero.
Yeah, Georgia's still number one this
Everybody
year.
loves
I just
Peyton
don't
Manning.
know that Georgia. I got to be honest with you, man. I don't think Georgia, if they have to go up against an Ohio, or Georgia's got to go up against a Tennessee.
No, and Anthony, Georgia wasn't number one this year in the preseason poll. They had Alabama number one.
Oh, is that what you're talking about?
Georgia
Preseason?
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Alabama was number one. Georgia was number 2 in the country, and they won the national
number
championship
2. Yeah,
last
they were
year.
number 2.
That's all political stupid shit. I hate it.
I think, but I still think the national championship is going through Georgia. I think they're going to be in there, unless Tennessee beat them.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but isn't this the first time that since they started the 14 playoff that Alabama hasn't been in the top 5?
Yes.
Oh,
hey, yeah, no, you're right. And let me ask, Gonzo, can I ask you this? The more that this ranking system, the AP poll puts Bama at number 1 year after year after year, no matter how they finish, they put them at number 1. Do you think that at some point in their brain, they've got to think to themselves, hey, the more we put them at number 1, the more we lose credibility?
Yeah, they should. That's why I agree with Anthony. Can we take away the NCAA rankings because it doesn't mean
No,
nothing?
you're right. Absolutely. Because what's the point of the rankings?
Yeah. Yeah, they don't mean nothing.
It's fucking stupid. I'm sorry. I hate ranking systems too. I really do.
Let's move over and talk a little playoff baseball real quick.
Oh, one more thing. When does Texas and Oklahoma? When do they move? Because they're getting ready to move to SEC. Is it 24 or 25?
24. I think 24.
I was gonna say I think 24.
So next year, Texas and Oklahoma will be SEC.
And you have UCLA and USC getting ready to move.
Hey, I'm just saying. Hey guys, let's think in for a minute. Next year, Texas and Oklahoma will be SEC.
I don't see why USC is gonna go to the Pac. The Big Ten. They're about to get the brakes beat off of them.
I just wasn't sure what year that happened, but I think that's going to be a huge monumental shift next year as well. Anyway, Gonzo, I apologize. I didn't mean to interrupt you. I wasn't sure when that was happening.
Damian said Alabama will always be number 1 until Saban leaves this earth. And then, in 24, USC and UCLA are supposed to be going to the Big Ten.
Nice. That's even going to be interesting too. What a time to be alive. Jesus.
Oh, but since we're talking about baseball, though, Gonzo, can I say something?
Yeah.
No, you cannot. Gonzo, continue.
Judge been horrible.
Don't even go Judge, because the minute you say Judge, Frankie or Pride are going to come up in here and they're going to be, well, isn't Altuve 0 for 16? You know what? Maybe he is, but we're in the freaking ALCS chilling, so shut up.
But Judge has been a dumpster fire.
Yep.
You know what's interesting to me is he had the opportunity, and I'm bringing this. He had the opportunity, for crying out loud, to get to a level of Triple Crown, and he gave it up for this stupid 62 BS. Oh, and by the way, the Astros know how to pitch to Judge. If you haven't figured that out by now, We know how to pitch to Judge. We know exactly what he hates, and he hates a slider that starts out at the waist and ends up underneath the knees. He can't
I've
hit
noticed
the damn
that, bro.
hey, all I know is, hey, when somebody asks me, hey, who do you want to face, Jay? Do you want to face Cleveland or do you want to face the Yankees? And I know damn good and well, if you look at the past history of Houston and the Cleveland Guardians this year, we have got our asses beat by Cleveland. So, no, I don't want to play Cleveland. I want to play absolutely the New York Yankees.
Hey, Mike Hughes, isn't Altuve over 17?
Yeah.
Hey, listen, Mike Hughes, shut up. The Cubs haven't been relevant since 2016. You're a day late and a dollar short. Go change your diaper.
But no, you got a big matchup day, wild card. And here's my thing. The game, not wild card, but big matchup for the division series, Yankees and Cleveland. Yankees have now announced, since it got postponed yesterday, that Cortez is going to start for them today.
Oh, dear.
Cleveland has still acted like Bieber's not going to pitch. I think Bieber's going to end up pitching today. I think they're going to play a little bit of mind games. But
Bieber's going to pitch. Look, this is the last game of the season if they don't win. Bieber's going to pitch. I'm telling you right now, he's going to pitch. And if he doesn't, then they need to fire Terry Francona if he'll put Bieber out there.
But how do you guys see this game going today? You think the Guardians are going to be able to pull off this upset?
Yeah, I think they can. If Bieber goes out there and pitches, they got a good shot at it. I'll be honest with you. They really
honestly, my heart says no, but my gut says yeah. My gut is like they got it. I think how poorly Judge been playing, and like he said, we made the play since.
Hey, you might have made the playoffs, but how far did you get? How far did you get, Mike? Shut up.
But honestly, I agree with what you say, Jay. I think you guys don't want to play the Guardians more than you guys don't want to play the Yankees.
Yeah, I don't want to play the Guardians.
I'll be honest with you.
Don't want to play the Guardians.
Yesterday on my sports betting show, I took the Guardians to win the game yesterday. I just have a feeling, and the reason why I picked them yesterday was because with Talion starting and Savali starting, I felt like both teams were going to get to their bullpen quick, and to me, the Guardians have the better bullpen.
Absolutely.
So
the Yankees do not have a bullpen.
That's why I gave the Guardians the advantage yesterday. Now, today, if they start Bieber, yes. But if they don't start Bieber against Cortez, I think that's a big mistake. I think you have to – I know it'd be on a short day, but you put the ball in your best pitcher's hand in an elimination game and then worry about game one of the American League Championship Series if you get there. But I think Cleveland has a good shot. But the key to me is they need to get a couple runs. They need to get a couple runs in the first 2 innings, because then you get up 2-0, all the pressure is on the Yankees. There's no pressure on Cleveland.
Absolutely.
Cleveland's already went above their expectations for this year. They're the youngest team in baseball. Nobody expecting them to be where they're at right now, let alone make the American League Championship Series. So the longer this game stays close, the more that's just, to me, the more pressure that builds up on the Yankees. And so I think the Guardians are going to be the looser team coming into this game, and I think that really could help them.
Anthony Price says if he was Cleveland, he'd walk Judge every time. No, Anthony, you don't have to walk Judge. That's the whole point. You don't have to walk him. He's beatable. Everybody knows Aaron Judge is beatable. All you do is give him the ball that starts out at the waist, goes down to the kneecaps, and he can't hit that shit. And if he does hit it, it's going to be a ground ball or a pop-up, I promise you. Don't walk him. Just know how to pitch to him, and you'll get him every damn time. I will say this. If I'm the Yankees, I'm starting Carpenter in the outfield before I start Hicks. I'm just saying.
But who y'all like this? Who you like between Phillies and the Padres?
Oh, God, that's where it gets difficult.
I'm going to go with the Phillies.
I'm going with the Padres because I think Musgrove,
Phillies in
Darvish,
5.
and Snell to go. Look, let me tell you something what I know. I know this. The Padres got a really incredibly gifted bullpen. They really do. Their starting rotation bullpen, pitching's on point. If you look at their positional players in terms of offense, Machado, we know Machado is a guy that's going to come through the clutch all the time. If you look at Bell, which was the addition to the Juan Soto trade, that guy's got a hell of a good average as well. So you've got a really good guy in Bell. Then you go into, you don't have a Tatis, but you don't need Tatis. You know why? Because Juan Soto's there. Now, I don't remember if you guys remember that, but the last time Juan Soto was in the playoffs and he won the World Series and was the MVP, Soto, when he gets to the playoffs, is a whole different guy. And I'm telling you, from a Houston Astros perspective, in that World Series, Juan Soto is a freaking nightmare. A nightmare. So don't discount Soto in all of this. I'm telling you, Soto and the Phillies will be the X factor. Will be the X factor in that series. You watch. I pray to God, though, honestly, I pray to God that the Phillies do win because I don't want to see Juan Soto in the World Series. I do not want to see Juan Soto.
But honestly, I think it's
no, you don't understand. I still have nightmares of the Astros and Nationals World Series and seeing Juan Soto come to the plate every time. It was almost as bad as Tampa Bay's Arona Reyes, whatever his name is, come to the plate. That guy was a nightmare in that series too. I'm just saying.
I think it's going to be a crazy matchup because the Machado and Harper matchup, if you guys don't know, against the Padres, Harper
crushed it.
But I don't think Machado is not, I don't think Machado is not as solid as he is with other teams against the Phillies. But like what you said, Juan Soto is going to play solid. But honestly, I just like the Phillies for the upside. I got the Phillies in 5.
Man, it's going to be interesting because both these teams got hot at the right time. You look at the Padres; they just took out 2 teams that had over 100 wins in the regular season to get.
Yeah, I was shocked the Phillies made it.
I will tell you this, guys, and I'm putting money on this. Gonzo, put this on your money line. I'm telling you right now, and my cues, if this happens, you better get ready to put on that Astros hat and jersey and put it on Facebook like the bet that we made. If you don't know, me and Mike Hughes have a bet. If the Astros win the World Series, he has to put on Facebook Astros jersey, hat, the whole 9 yards, basically saying I'm an Astros fan at this point. And if they lose, I had to don an Astros jersey and hat with the trash can. I'm taking it all day, every day. And I hope to God I don't move that. I really don't want to put that on my Facebook. But I will do it because I'm a man of my word. But I'm going to tell you right now, if we go against the Yankees in the ALCS, we're going to the World Series. Frankie, I love you. And I know you're going to attack me in the unscripted, unmercifully chat in about 5 minutes. But I'm telling you, we're going to the World Series if we face the Yankees. And then when we get there, if we play against the Phillies, Astros will win the World Series. If we go against the Padres, oh my God. It's anybody's guess at that point because I just know what Juan Soto brings to the table, and that just scares the shit out of me.
I'll tell you what, man, this game tonight between the Phillies and Padres is going to be, I think, going to be a real good game with Willer.
Oh, my God, that's right. We get 2 games tonight, don't we?
Yep.
Oh, shit.
Willer's on the mound for the Phillies, and you got Darvish on the mound for the Padres. That's a hell of a pitching.
I'm not gonna lie, I was hurt when the Braves lost. I thought they was gonna go back to back.
Well, yeah. Well, the Phillies.
Okay, I gotta make a disclaimer, Gonzo. I gotta make a disclaimer to the ASAP world. I want you guys to know that because we're getting 2 games tonight, I am going to get another bottle of Jack. I am going to hide my cell phone in a place that I do not know where it is located. I think I'm going to give it to my wife, and she's going to take it home so that I don't make any kind of stupid posts. But there won't be another bottle of Jack tonight if we're getting 2 games. I'm just saying. Go ahead.
Oh man. So no, I think it's going to be a real close series.
Damien told you to stop smoking, Jay.
I don't smoke, Damien. If anybody who knows me, they all know that I drink. I don't smoke. I do eat the edibles when the opportunity presents itself.
Mike Hughes says I love Jay McLovin.
Hey, listen, I'm glad you love Jay McLovin because it takes a very special person to be able to love me and withstand my idiosyncrasies.
Ron said, no, we need more stupid posts, Jay.
Oh, damn. You know what, Ron? Hey, after last night, I felt like me and you bonded, and so I'm going to let that slide. By the way, if anybody wants to have a really good Halloween experience, I highly suggest taking a trip to Nashville, Tennessee, and going to the McNamee House Mansion. And if you can survive 8 hours in that mansion, you'll get $20,000. By the way, nobody's ever made it 8 hours.
Ron says, Mike Hughes, I personally prefer intoxicated Jay.
That's because I take the heat off a crazy ass Mike Hughes.
Mike says my girl thinks I'm cheating when my phone blows up at 2 a.m, but it's really Jay McLovin calling out everybody. And they Bob.
You know what? I fucking love Mike. I love Mike. I do. I love Mike Hughes. I called him a loser, but he's really a winner.
I just be feeling bad for Mike Hughes as a Chicago native fan. He doesn't deserve that. Him and Rob. They don't deserve these performances from these teams. Gonzo, you're a good guy too. I don't think you deserve the Cincinnati Reds and the Colts doing you like this.
Don't forget the Pacers.
And the Pacers.
You can't
Let
forget
me ask you guys a question. You know who I want to win the World Series. Clearly, I'm an Astros guy. But Deontay, I don't know if you have a dog in the fight. Chris, I know, excuse me, you don't have a dog in the fight. But who do you guys want to see win the World Series personally?
I don't want to see Machado gets one. I just think he looks like a jerk to me. I would like to see Bryce Harper, but besides that, I would like to see Houston. I like to see Houston. Houston's a very solid team. I just don't think I'm at the point now. I think even if the Yankees get through Cleveland or get through y'all, I just don't think the Yankees have it in them. I think Judge is gonna, when they need him the most, is gonna dud.
Right.
So I don't think the Yankees got it. Yankees is, I'm not gonna lie, on paper, the best team in baseball, but it's like the Dodgers. Dodgers at one point was the best on paper, and then they always screw you somehow, which don't understand why they keeping their manager, but it is what it is. But
Sports Judge is still crying about that.
Of course, you know he is. You know
he said Chicago sports builds character.
Hey, you know what? Hey, listen, you got to believe that because 69 years it took for the Cubs to get a championship. By the way, is that not an amazing number? 69. How crazy is that?
No,
secondly,
I think it's worse being a Cleveland sports fan.
For me,
but
Jay,
secondly, it took the 85 Bears is the last time the Bears saw it. So the Bulls are probably the most relevant outside of the Cubs. But as I digress, Gonzo, who you want, brother?
I mean, like I said, I don't have a dog in the fight, but if I had to pick, it would be the Phillies, just because I like Kyle Schwarber. He played for IU, Indiana Hoosiers, which was my favorite college team.
And Kyle Schwarber can be dangerous too.
And then Castellanos, he had an MVP season with the Reds, so I'd like to see them guys get a World Series. So if I had to pick a team, it'd be the Phillies.
Amazing. You know, the only
Why not
reason
the Guardians, Gonzo?
No, no, listen, the only reason
I like the Guardians, but if I had to pick a team to win the World Series, it'd be the Phillies.
But hey, listen, let me tell you guys though, I think the team, and look, again, the team that needs it the most is the Astros. I'm going to tell you a couple of reasons why. Number one, if you look at the Astros as a whole, I'm not saying that Altuve and a couple of the players aren't still on there from that old team, but over 80% of that team is brand new. The GM is brand new, and we all know Dusty Baker has yet to get a World Series ring, and we all know how many clubs have gone to the World Series under Dusty Baker's leadership. And I just love Dusty Baker. I just love his attitude, his wisdom, and the things that Dusty brings to an organization. And he really was the best thing to come to Houston because he really gave us back our legitimacy that Hinch and Alex Cora and Carlos Beltran and so forth took away from us, right?
That boy
Dusty Baker couldn't get the Reds to the damn World Series. He gets us to playoffs, and we couldn't score no runs, get swept by the Phillies.
No, I get it. But what I'm saying is the reason why I want the Astros to win a World Series is, number one, you know that when we win the World Series, Mike Hughes, I hope you're listening, there's no trash cans. There's no nothing. It's a legitimate freaking win. And the city of Houston, the people of Houston, we're not cheaters. We're not anything bad, whatever the case. A couple of guys made those decisions, but they
Justin
don't necessarily
Verlander's
represent.
aging
But they
well.
don't represent the Houston population as a whole, nor do they represent this team. Because, like I said, this team is completely different than the team that was accused of that. So I want people to understand when we win, we freaking win. And Houston and the city of Houston needs this now more than ever to reclaim our pride, our dignity, our respect as being Houstonians. We need this win to go along with that. So that's why I want Houston to win more than anything.
I'm not gonna lie. That's one of the reasons why I picked Houston. I'm like, because the cheating scandal when they won the World Series, now it's a bad stain, but they're still one of the best teams in baseball. So I think if they do this, this will turn their legacy. And I think, yeah, y'all look like make y'all a legitimate team, but then you have to call all of them out. You called the whole roster out for cheating.
Hey, it is what it is, man. Look, I'm all about autonomy. I'm all about transparency. It is what it is. I didn't make them cheat. I didn't make them do the wrong things, but it is what it is. And I think that this team is special. This team doesn't have to cheat. We're so deep and we've built so much through the organization. It's ridiculous. We didn't go out and get
because y'all was bad for so long.
Yeah. Bro, if you look at the Astros rotation, just look at the Astros rotation. With the exception of Verlander, everybody from Lance McCullers all the way down to Garcia, the whole rotation is homegrown. Even the bullpen is homegrown. Think about that for a minute. Everything we have is homegrown.
But Verlander's balling, though.
Hey, but what I'm saying is we didn't go out and try to recruit every free agent pitcher out there. We grew from within. Even Tucker, Pena, Alvarez, even
y'all the best player development team in baseball.
Gurriel, they're all homegrown guys. And what I'm saying is when your team is homegrown,
and being
that just says how good a franchise is because they didn't have to go out to the free agent market to recreate what they needed to recreate. They did it from within. They did it through the draft.
That's another thing I like about the Indians Guardians as well is that they're all homegrown too. Their youngest team in baseball,
yeah,
like 17 of their players came from their farm system. So I mean, they're showing that they can develop some players. That's why
I know that about Cleveland.
But I'm going to ask you this, hey Gonzo and Dante. I'm going to ask you this now. Listen. We built it, and everybody knows because every damn team out there is doing it. We all went to South America, Dominican or Puerto Rico or Mexico, and we snatched up guys out of those systems or out of those towns. We brought them in and we, put them into our road. So we did go, outside the U.S. to get the majority of our team. There's no doubt there. I mean, it is what it is. And a lot of people are doing that. But here's where I think baseball is about to take a dramatic change. The minute they put in an international draft, there's going to be no more going to South America and grabbing up some kid out of nowhere and bringing him in and training him and throwing him on the mound or the bullpen or the batter's box or whatever. Now we're going to have to draft, these guys. And that's where I think baseball is about to take a huge turn to the left once we start drafting rather than just going in and grabbing them at free will.
You think
you know what I'm saying?
For the good or for the bad?
For the better. I think as an overall sport, it'll be for the better, right? Because it gives everybody a free chance to get this guy or not get this guy.
I agree.
Yeah, I agree.
I think in MLB, I'll make the MLB spread more internationally.
Yeah, I think so too. And at the end of the day, I think it's better for the international athletes to go through the draft process, to be honest with you. And the reason why I say is this. A lot of times we're snagging these kids at 12 and 13 years of age, making them contracts, even though they can't sign a contract per international law until they're 16. But we're making these commitments to them. And then in some cases, we're backing out of these commitments and they already had their lives set on it. So again, there's a lot of really bad practices that are going on from Major League Baseball clubs to these, young Latino athletes in these third world countries, second world countries, whatever. and backing out or reneging off of it, and then they're left scratching their heads. So I think for their protection, everybody else's protection, having the draft, will protect them and help them if nothing else.
All right, we're going to take a short commercial break, and then we'll come back and we'll talk some NBA. Got NBA kicking off tonight, so enjoy this short video, and we'll be right back.
All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. 365, we're making a plays. We're talking the game, get you through the days. We're high in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety, topics, living the same. All presentation, sports information. Hitting the airways, taking the nation. All sport, all plays, like working your faces. Grace at the field, so tie the laces. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. We on top of our game. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays.
What did you say?
I said Kobe Bean Bryant has been overrated ever since he passed away.
Now, I'd say they could lose about 4, but I don't see them losing 5. You know what I mean?
All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays.
This is the Fox D Streaming Network. Register to come on our channel at foxdnetwork.com.
Hey,
All right,
real quick. Damien, I got to say that Damien said Astros don't need a damn thing. Cheaters shouldn't deserve anything. I'm sorry. I guess I forgot about the Chicago Black Sox. My bad. We forgot about the Black Sox. Okay, continue, mission.
All right, welcome back to the show, ASAP Afternoon Blitz. We appreciate everybody watching. Please hit that subscribe button on YouTube at All Sports All Plays. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all that good stuff at All Sports All Plays. Let's jump into some NBA, fellas. We got a couple big matchups tonight to kick off the regular season. You got the 76ers against the Boston Celtics, and then you also have the Warriors and the Lakers on the night. And then tomorrow we get a full slate of games. But how do you think the Celtics are going to come out against the Sixers tonight with all the stuff that's went off in the offseason? They are at home in Boston. The Celtics are 3-point favorites in this game. But do you think the Celtics are going to come out and kind of look like they did last year? Or do you think they're going to get off to maybe a slow start with having a new coach and with the scandal and everything that went on over there? I don't know if you really call it a scandal, but you know what I mean with what happened to their coach. I can't say his last name, so I'm not going to try.
Udaka.
But so what are you expecting now of the Sixers and the Celtics tonight?
Deontay, go first.
First off, I think the Celtics are going to really miss Ime Udoka and suspension. And 2, I don't know. I think the Sixers, I think Tyrese Maxey, I think he's going to go to that number 2. He's going to upgrade at number 2. Tyrese Maxey is a bona fide star in the making. Joel Embiid, he's entering his prime years. Joel Embiid, to me, is the best big man in basketball. I like Joker, but I would rather have Embiid because his inside work, his defense, and he can score on the outside. And he still got James Harden facilitating, got slimmed down pretty good. Tobias Harris is my only question mark. But Boston, they're going to miss Ime Udoka. I understand they got Brogdon, but if Gallinari didn't tear his knee, or if Ime Udoka was still there, I'll have Boston actually going to the finals. But since Udoka is not there, I like the Sixers. But I'm interested to see this Warriors versus Lakers game in the regular season to see what the Lakers, how are they going to respond from last year, and see how the Warriors are going to respond from all this with the Jordan Poole, Draymond Green. This is Draymond Green's most likely last year in Golden State. It's just a lot of storylines, and I like to see how the Lakers respond and how Westbrook and now I'm sorry, Westbrook hurt. See how the roster will be and see how Darvin Ham will adjust to these and see how LeBron James actually look right now and see is he's still trying to show he's one of the best players in basketball and if AD is going to be healthy. So it's going to be a exciting season. I still got Bucks winning the whole thing though. I'm sorry. I'm just here to tell y'all.
Well, that we're going to come back to the Bucks because I got a couple of questions about the Bucks franchise for you, Deontay, that I want to see what your answers are going to be in result. But we'll come back to that. I know that Gonzo's got a lot of things we must talk about. Gonzo, my thought process on this is Tobias Harris is giving you 17 points, 6 rebounds, 3 assists, roughly a night at that forward position. I think you look at Embiid being healthy, and we all know what Embiid means to the scoring position from all the areas from which he can operate and his defense, as well as PJ Tucker, which we also know at the other forward position gives you that junkyard dog mentality, that toughness, the expertise that he brought to the Bucks NBA championship team, and what that's going to mean for a very soft, I said it, a very soft team in the Celtics, and what he will do for them is going to be amazing. And then we look at Maxey and so forth, and we know what Maxey brings to the team as well. And then, of course, then you got the bench. So I'm looking for, do I think the Celtics will drop a beat off of last year just because their coach had sex with the wife of one of the GMs or what have you? Nah, not really. Not for him anyway. Maybe for Udoka himself, it'll have something. But for the Celtics team that has experience, has playoff experience, has been to the finals, they know what they're doing. And they've been under this guy, this interim guy as well. They all know what he's about. They know how he operates. So no, I think this is just going to be a lateral move. I think the Celtics are going to operate the way the Celtics operate. But at the end of the day, they are too soft to compete with the junkyard dogs of the Philadelphia 76ers. So I got the Sixers taking this game, and it's going to be awesome to watch the Celtics go down in flames. Which, by the way, I'm Scottish-Irish by descent, so it does hurt me to see that, but at the same time, I really don't give a damn. Secondly, Second, I'm so controversial tonight. I'm sorry. I think pride in his beat, boop, bop in the morning chat has just infected the crap out of me, but it's okay. I think it's in a good way. But then we turn over to the Lakers and we look at Golden State, and they got Looney on the depth chart as starting, and they got James Wiseman as the number 2 backup at the center position, which I think is extremely smart by Steve Kerr to do that, because Wiseman, although healthy, has to work himself back into the rotation, just like Curry, when he came off of injury, had to work himself off the bench and into the rotation. They're doing the same thing with Wiseman, which I think is extremely smart. And I think we're going to see an amazing outcome of that, to where I think at some point in the season, you will see Wiseman become the starter and you'll see Looney become the backup to this team. And as long as they got the core together, they just signed Wiggins to an extension of $104 for a year, and they got $140 for a year for Poole. So this team is back in action. Everybody's there. The core is there. And there's no way in hell, when you look at the depth chart of the Lakers and what the Lakers have to offer, they're going to compete with the Golden State Warriors. When you got James day-to-day, Davis day-to-day, Westbrook day-to-day, you bring in a Patrick Beverley, which his best overall skill set is the ability to talk trash. Yeah, I'm not buying it. Schroeder, he was a Rocket. He was an OKC guy. Not bad, not great, just an okay guy. And I'm sorry, but okayness plus day-to-dayness plus last year and what last year produced for them over the history of the LA franchise from 1 year ago, Golden State, and it's not even funny. It's almost like the Harlem Globetrotters against a team that's named to be later that we really could care less about. And that's how I see the first two games going on opening night.
Yeah, I kind of agree with both of you. I think the 76ers are going to win tonight. I don't know if the Celtics will get off to a real slow start, but I do think this first game they're going to look a little bit different just because you have a new guy as head coach. And sometimes it just takes time to look how long it took them last year to get chemistry with Uduke. They started off real slow, and then I probably messed his name up.
So it's not Uduke, it's Odaka.
Well, whatever it is.
Don't say Duque in the man's name. That sounds terrible.
Okay, I'm just going to say their former coach.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to go there, God. But you're saying like El Duque.
We're gonna have to clip that. But anyway, it took them a while last year to get in the rhythm, and I could see maybe them having that same problem this year. But with the healthy Joel Embiid, I like the Sixers tonight, and then the Warriors. I think the Warriors are going to be better than what they were last year. I really do with a healthy Wiseman. And they signed everything. The only thing that scares me about the Warriors is what happened with Draymond Green and Jordan Poole. How, are they going to be able to move on from that? That's the only thing that scares me a little bit about the Warriors. How, dude? Because if you came and just knocked me out, it's going to be hard for me and you to be on the same court together. You know what I mean? So that's what worries me about them a little bit.
It would be hard for me and anybody to be in the same
Well, you know what? Hold on. But again, at the same time, look, these guys are professionals, man. They know shit gets heated. Nobody knows what truly was said between Poole and Green and the things that went on. So we don't know what that conversation truly even really was. We know that there was a fight, but people fight all the damn time. I think these guys are professionals. I think Draymond's a professional. I think Poole's a professional. I think their common goal is still to get back to the championship. And I think these guys are professional enough. They'll set things aside and they're going to go out and compete for the like of Steve Kerr. So I think Steph Curry and Thompson, they're going to rein in these guys, okay? There's enough leadership between Kerr, Curry, and Thompson, and Green has a certain level of love for the Golden State franchise that they're going to work this out. I don't think it's going to be the issue we think it is. However, in a comma, the issue is going to come next year when Draymond has to go up for contract. That's when I think things are going to boil down in Golden State. But for this year, I think everything stays status quo. I think they're focused on getting the ring. Yeah. I don't think it's going to be as bad as we think it is.
Yeah, I agree. I think they'll be all right. But that's just
one thing that worries
me. That is the one thing that worries me a little bit. But I think they'll figure it out. But yeah, I agree with what Deontay said earlier. This is probably Draymond's last year in Golden State.
I think so too.
Unless he's going to take a pay cut, because they're not going to be able, after they just signed Poole to that extension. And
Gonzo, this team currently right now, as it stands, is roughly $489 million. 89 million payroll. And they have not, and they're going to be in the luxury tax this year. So I think if Draymond is able to stay with this franchise, he will take a pay cut. Now, again, that's where I think next year is going to be a very disastrous year a little bit. I don't think it's going to be as disastrous for Golden State. It's just going to be a very ugly separation from Draymond, because Draymond's not going to take that pay cut. Draymond's going to go somewhere else. But I think there's going to be but it sucks though, right? It sucks to see a team love each other, go through the wars together, and Draymond, we all know, is the vocal mouthpiece of the Warriors. So when he goes away, it's like Big Brother left us, and there's going to be a little something go on next year, and it's going to not be so nice.
But do you think that maybe will take that pay cut? Because I don't think
he does. No.
I don't think that any other team is going to pay him what he wants.
True. That's true.
That's facts. I agree.
So that's
but
the only
do you
way I
think that
maybe.
he takes the humble pie and stays there? Or does he take less? If he's going to take lesser money, maybe he takes lesser money and goes somewhere else because he just doesn't want to be around those people.
Yeah, it could happen that way too. But I don't think any team's going to give him what he's
hell no. Draymond's old as dirt.
His chance to me, his chance to make the most money is going to be staying with Golden State because they'll pay him a little bit more just because of everything he's done at Golden State.
He'll stay with Golden State because
if he goes to another team,
he'll get at least a ring out of it.
If he goes to the other teams, I don't think he's going to get close to what he wants.
He goes to Golden
Draymond needs to stop worrying about contract money, and he needs to worry about his PR reputation and build up those advertisements and go get those advertisement dollars.
Hey, dude, and even if he don't, he could retire. His podcast is doing good. He has other things going on.
That's what I'm saying. If I'm Draymond, I'm not worried about contract money. I'm worried about endorsements. I'm going after as many endorsements. I'm going to make my reputation so good that I'm going to get those damn endorsement dollars.
He's going to get a TV deal. He'll be he already does some of the pregame stuff with on TNT and stuff. He'll end up doing more of that.
Draymond he just needs to shut up with the contracts, put the mouth on the court, and just play ball and go get another freaking ring and let's just play ball. Fuck it.
Do you think this could happen that Damian just mentioned? Think he could go to the Nets and play the KD? Think him and KD?
No, fuck no, hell no. Stop it. Why do we entertain Damian? I love you. Damian, I do. Trubisky, that whole video, I love it every day. And I feel like me and you've gotten closer over that video, but stop. Damian, no, you know what, Damian? No, don't stop. Keep doing you.
And then he also how do you see Russell Westbrook and Pat Beverly coexisting with each other?
They'll coexist. They're not going to be on the court together. I think Beverly would be on the court with the A team, or maybe vice versa. They'll be on. Nah, they'll be all right. They'll be all right. Because I'll tell you one thing about Pat Beverly. Pat Beverly, because he was a Houston Rocket. And I do know a little bit about Pat Beverly. Pat Beverly will jaw you to death when you're on the opposite team.
Oh, him and
Pat
Draymond
Beverly is also a loyalist when it comes to the team that he's on.
You know what I'm saying?
Like, huh?
I said Draymond and Pat Beverly might fight tonight. They both like to talk.
Jesus.
I ain't gonna lie. Pat Beverly.
No, but you know what? Listen, what about Pat Beverly? Pat Beverly is a loyalist when it comes to the team that he's on. And I think so is, Russell Westbrook. So you put those two guys on the same team, they're realizing, hey, we're not foes, we're teammates. And I think that's going to neutralize that issue. Now, for any other team that Pat Bev goes against, yeah, they'll be talking. No doubt about it. No doubt about it. No doubt. Let me ask you guys a question. So you've seen the Rockets, because I want to get your guys' opinion on this. You've seen the Rockets. We drafted Jabari Smith. Now we got Jalen Green. We got Sagoon. And we got Kevin Porter Jr. that had just signed on to, I think, a 4-year, $85 million contract. Let me ask you this, man. What is your thought process on Houston? Do we stay status quo as what we did last year? Do we get better or do we get worse? Like, where do you think Houston's going? Because right now, like I said, we're in rebuild mode. We were in rebuild mode when we got rid of Harden and we went into rebuild mode. Now we're, 2 years? This will be the second year of rebuild because Jalen Green was year 1 and then Jabari Smith was year 2. Where do you see the Houston Rockets going from here?
Go ahead, Deontay.
Y'all are very much rebuilding. It's a very nice squad. I like y'all coach. I think y'all coach is not the problem. I just think it's the fact that y'all are a very young team. Like, you can tell they're very young and they're just raw and they're trying to figure it out. You guys don't have that. It's just the West. I think the West is so star-studded. It's just that you guys can compete. It's just the West is so star-studded. You have the LeBron James, the Steph Currys, the Chris Paul, Devin Bookers, the Luka Doncic, the Nikola Jokic, and You have the Jamal Murrays, the Damian Lillards. It's just star-studded. And I believe in 2 or 3 years, you guys will be a playoff team and a very formidable team. Just right now, it's not the time, maybe because of the age and just the development of the players.
I know, and I definitely agree with you, Gonzo. Based off, or I want to build off of what Deontay is saying, and he has very valid points in terms of chemistry and being together. This will be the first year Jabari joins Jalen. This will be Jalen's second year on the team. Sagoon's probably been there the longest. You know, I believe talent is good, but talent only gets you so far. But again, if this team can gel, if chemistry can form, I believe anybody has the right to a championship if a team-oriented environment and everybody does what they're supposed to do within the scheme of the system. What do you think about the Rockets, and what are their chances this year versus where they were last year? How do you – or not even that. No, let me scrap that. In their second year of rebuild, how do you see the Rockets progressing? Are we progressing in the right way, or are we progressing status quo? In your opinion.
I think you're progressing in the right way. I think getting Jabari Smith is going to be a big pickup for you guys. And I would say this year, I think you guys could be right there close to being a play-in team. I could see you guys right around 9-10, 8-9-10 range. Maybe with a chance to be in a play-in game. I really do. I think they're moving in the right direction, and I agree with Deontay. You give them another year or two, I think you're going to be up there, maybe competing for a solid playoff spot. But I think you guys could be right around that 8 to 12 range this year, right in there, maybe on the verge of being in the play-in game.
Let me ask you guys a question. And Gonzo, I'm not trying to take over this show. I have a question, and I don't know. I didn't get a topic list. I don't know what the topics are, but there's something that's been on my mind now, and I have not heard a lot of podcasting people talking about it. But I think it's something that should be talked about. Currently, we know that Scoot Anderson, if I got his name correct, I know his last name is Anderson. I don't know if that's his first name. Scoot, I think is his first name. He plays with the Ignite. And he does pretty well. He's injured right now, I think, but I think he's getting ready to come back. But we know Scoot Anderson is projected as the number 2 person in the next draft. We know that and I hope I say this guy's name right, Wembanyama.
Victor Wembanyama, yeah.
Yeah, out of France is like the projected number 1 guy. We know LeBron. God, LeBron. I have a saying. When somebody of LeBron's caliber, Michael Jordan's caliber, Kareem Abdul or Magic, whoever you want to put in there, caliber comes out and says about somebody that they're a freak,
so
that they're an alien.
Yeah.
Hey, he called him an alien. I mean, he called him all kinds of things, right?
That
this
disgusting.
Guy is just that level of a guy. Like, I think the last game he played against the Ignite, he put 36 points, 11 rebounds, 4 blocks, 4 assists. Again, the Ignite was roughly his stat line. And again, I'm just going off memory here from what I saw. But again, you know this guy's going to go number 1. LeBron James has described him as a generational talent. Now, think about this. Jordan was a generational talent. Magic, at his position was a generational type of talent. LeBron is a generational. Kobe was a generational. These are all generational guys. And now LeBron, the current generational guy, is describing Wembanyama as a generational guy before he even hit the draft.
Yeah. LeBron said that we've never seen anything like him.
So my thought process, when I talk about the Rockets and where we are, internally, I'm happy where we are, but externally, I want those fuckers to tank and grab Wembanyama and bring this guy into the fold, and then let's just tear up the league next year after that. That's what I'm really kind of wondering. But at the same time,
with that, Jay, The only problem with that is the way that the NBA does the draft. You could tank.
They don't. Yeah, it doesn't matter. It just depends on whose ping pong ball comes
Yeah,
up.
I'll tell you could tank and you still might not get the number 1 pick.
Which we're going to get into that in a second, if you don't mind. But let me ask you this: could you imagine Wembanyama on the Rockets?
Oh,
Like literally, like right off the bat they're not going to win, but you know that the way that team is constructed, if you had a Jabari Smith, a Kevin Porter Jr., and Jalen Green, and then you put Wembanyama either at the forward or at the center, you can only imagine with Sagoon in there too as well. Oh my God, that team would be maybe not off the rip, but once they get that chemistry and a little bit more experience, that team could be ferocious.
yes. No, they could.
Ferocious. But I want to go back to for a second. By the way, again, I think Wembanyama, whoever gets him, is going to get that guy that's just fucking phenomenal and is going to raise their team by exponentials. Even much more so than what Zion. You thought Zion was good coming out of the league? You ain't seen nothing until you see Wembanyama and what he's predicted to do in the league. I think it's going to be incredible. But let me ask you guys a question. You know the way the NFL does their draft, where the worst team gets the number 1 spot. You look at the NBA in the lottery system, where even if you're the worst team, you may not still get the best draft. You may, depend on where your ping pong ball falls, that's where you fall. Now, yes, you do have the greatest chance, but as we all know, that greatest chance can turn into the number 4 pick if you're picked at number 4.
Yeah.
My question for each of you guys is, who has it right, NBA or the NFL? Gonzo?
I like the way the NBA does it, just because it kind of prevents teams from trying to just tank. Where in the
Thank
NFL,
you. Yes.
and because I don't like any team trying to lose on purpose. That's not what sports is about. I know you want to get better, but it's a competition. You want to be the best. To me, that's why I like the way the NBA does it, because it discourages tanking. Because like you said, you could tank and you could be the worst team and you could get the 13th pick in the draft. Where in the NFL, it goes by how you finish. And so I like the NBA way better just because I think it prevents tanking more than what the NFL model does.
I ain't gonna
And I
argue
agree with you. I totally freaking, because I do think that it does prevent the tanking. Because if the NFL knows, all I gotta do is finish dead last, and I'm gonna get Wembanyama, it's a done deal. I hate that crap because then it does provoke tanking. I think the NBA is correct. Do it on the lottery, and see where you fall. And it, like you said, it prevents the tanking. I apologize, Deontay. I just want to comment on that real quick on follow-up. Deontay, what's your thought process?
I think I agree 100% with Chris says. Like the NBA, it prevents from tanking. All I'm gonna say is, as a Chargers fan that wanted us to tank for many years, I wish we would have. That's all.
I've been part of a team that tanked. The Colts tanked to get luck that year. They were trying at the end of the year. They put in Orlovsky and he started winning games. And they were nervous that he was going to blow it for them and they weren't going to get luck. So I've been part of that. I don't like it. I mean, like I said, it's a competition, and to me, you want your team to be the best. You don't want to see your team trying to lose on purpose.
No, it depends if it's a bigger picture. I like the big picture.
I agree with you.
But the NBA by far, because it's more competitive and they try to. Only team I've seen try to honestly tank in NBA was the Sixers, but they already knew they were bad. But nobody really tanks in NBA. It's just the teams. Some of the teams are just not good enough. That's why they're blowouts.
No, NFL, absolutely. And again, I'm torn. I do like, because Jay McLovin is terrible at bingo and he never gets the fucking G when he needs the G, and he always loses. It makes me hate the ping pong ball system because of that fact. But at the same time, I know that the most fairest way to do it, and the way to keep the integrity of your league would be in the lottery versus whoever finishes dead last. I think when you finish dead last, it encourages tanking and it destroys the integrity of the league. So again, I think based on that, I think you guys are right. Gonzo, I'm sorry, I just had to ask that question because it's been on my mind. It's like I wonder what people think about
that was a good
lottery versus
that was a good topic to
last
talk
place.
about. Real quick, before we get out of here, you said you wanted to ask Deontay a couple questions about the Bucks. Let's do that real quick before we finish up.
Yeah, man. Look, when it comes to the Bucks, like honestly, we look at them now at 3-3. Do you think, in your personal opinion, do you think that Tom regrets coming back?
Talking about Tampa?
Yeah, I guess so. I thought he was talking about.
I'm saying if Tom knows that his team is 3-3 and he's not performing at his highest level, the team is not performing at their highest level. Do you think that Tom, and if you give his personal life where his wife is getting ready to divorce him, do you think that he is now looking back saying like, man, maybe I should not have come back?
I think deep down in his heart, he is thinking maybe this wasn't the best for me to do. I think he's thinking he thought he was better. He thought the Bucks were better than what they actually are. And I think it sucks for him because he didn't know the offensive line would be like this. He would not know the defense like this, the injuries play like. I think he didn't take initiative of that. I also think he just loves football too much. And there's with some people, if you have an addiction to something, it's gonna cost you one day. And
I agree.
I think Tom's addicted to football.
And at some level, Deontay, I think you kind of answered the first question. My second question is a little bit more important in my mind, is if you're Tom Brady and you know you have ties or links to Miami at some level, if you obviously had discussions with Miami, your home, for crying out loud, is in Miami. Why do you think, do you think, in your opinion, Tom should have came to the Bucks and said, hey, listen, is there a way that we can work out a trade of some kind to Miami? Because I can't just go to Miami because contractually I'm bound to you guys, but can we work out a trade, to Miami? I'm pretty sure Miami would work out a trade to put Tom Brady in that style of offense and their defense. Yeah, they're going to work that trade out. And obviously they wanted to because they tried to bring in Tom off the get-go anyway. So I don't think Tom is necessarily going to gather you up first because you're not going to get enough in return if that's the case. But I think a second or a third-round pick for Tom Brady to the Tampa Bay Bucks would be justified. Why do you think he did not ask for that trade?
I think he just has a commitment to the Bucks, and I honestly think they're satisfied with Tua right now, and they'll be. And I think they're at the point they're satisfied with Tua, and if Tua is not their quarterback, they believe they can go to the draft and get somebody to develop.
That's not true, Deontay. If that was true, they wouldn't have been held accountable for tampering. We know that Miami's been held accountable for tampering to bring Tom in.
Well, they really
so we know that was dispelled.
Well, they also
do it when he
Deshaun
came
Watson.
from New England.
They also wanted Deshaun Watson. Miami did.
They didn't, but Flores did.
Flores did. Yeah.
Hell, that's why Flores. Hey, you know why Flores isn't with the Miami Dolphins? Because of that. Because of his unwillingness to settle on not bringing in, or him wanting to bring in Watson was why that ultimately they let him go.
Honestly, but
yeah,
Brian Flores didn't want Tua.
Yeah,
Brian Flores wanted to draft Justin Herbert.
No, you're right. You're right.
Yeah, he wanted Herbert.
What I'm saying is clearly
and
Miami.
I thank Miami organization every day because if we would have had Tua Tagovailoa and he's looking like that, I probably would not be a Chargers fan anymore.
Hey, but watch this. Well, that's true. But what I'm saying is that Miami is under the microscope.
I would have went somewhere else.
What I'm saying is when it comes to Tom Brady, we know that Miami is under the microscope with tampering issues with Brady. We know that for a fact. So we know that there is an interest from Miami and Brady. We know that for a fact because the NFL has come out and said, hey, look, there's tampering. We know that. It's
Damien got a point too, though.
Of this.
Damien got
so
a
what
point
I'm saying
too.
is if Tom was smart in his career, you know, I know, Tampa was the better spot. Or excuse me, Miami was the better spot for him with Waddle and Hill. Hill wasn't there at the time, but Hill came over eventually. I think Miami had a more complete team, though. Offensive line, the things that Gesicki as the wide receiver, you know, there's a couple of things that really screwed over Tom.
Do you think Tom wanted to play New England twice a year, though?
I think is he should have gone to Miami, and I think he should have talked to management with the Tampa and worked out a trade scenario. I think Miami would have honored that. Or number two, if you're going to stay with Tampa, only go to Tampa if Gronkowski comes back. If Gronk don't come back, you don't get a chance in hell at a Super Bowl. And we're seeing that. Gronk's not there, and he don't got a chance in hell at a Super Bowl. And if you think Tampa Bay going to be in the Super Bowl watch, you're smoking crack cocaine.
But I'm going to be honest, though. I don't think Miami was his dream spot. You know what I think his dream spot always been? San Francisco. But the problem with him not going to San Francisco wanted to keep Jimmy Garoppolo instead of Tom Brady. And Tom Brady
what
was
makes
pissed
you
about
think
that?
that? What leads? And I'm not.
He's from the Bay Area.
I'm investigating. What leads you down the path?
He's from the Bay Area. One, he was a die-hard 49ers fan growing up. Joe Montana, his idol. The 49ers I think before he
wasn't enough because he didn't go. Wait, when he came back in the league, he wasn't asking to get to San Francisco. No. He was asking to get to Tampa Bay.
No, he was trying to get to San Francisco when he first left New England. He had said before that San Francisco is where it was would be like the dream place to play. Same with Aaron Rodgers. But
they want to play San Francisco, but they want.
Okay, if that's the case, then I stand corrected. Okay. Maybe I must have missed it. I guess I missed that. Okay.
One reason he didn't go there was because he's his son. He wanted to be close enough. That's why he went to Florida. He was close enough to his son that lives up in the New York, Connecticut, New York area where he could fly back and forth. So that's why he didn't go all the way across country. But I think the reason he didn't ask for a trade when he came back this year is I think part of it was he wanted to come back and help Todd Bowles try to win a Super Bowl since Todd Bowles was the head coach now, and kind of resurrect his career. I think he thought he was going to be able to come back. I think he thought Gronk was going to come back too. That hasn't happened.
I think Gronk was done. I think he was done after last season.
Yeah, I do too. But there's been some.
So let me ask you this then. Let me ask you.
I don't think he loved the game.
Let me ask you a little futuristic. Is this the last year for Brady? Does he come back next year? Is this it? Is this the end of him?
Absolutely.
I think this is the last year.
He played till he was 45. He's the most accomplished quarterback ever. I'm not going to say the GOAT because a lot of people don't think he's a GOAT. In my personal opinion, he's the best football player ever lived. We don't think
he's the GOAT. Let's put it this way. Tom Brady is the GOAT. There's no taking that ever away from him unless you get more. What I'm saying is, unless a quarterback can come in and get more than 7 rings, you're not ever going to be the GOAT. What I'm saying is that he's not the best quarterback in the league anymore.
You want me to tell you something, though, Jay? I don't think we will ever see another Tom Brady.
But let me ask you a
question. Out
of
my years of living, I don't think I'll ever see another Tom Brady.
And for you as well, Gonzo, let me ask you can I ask you a serious question?
All he did was win.
No, but let me ask you a serious question. If you look at the entire NFL, quarterbacks, we're talking about the quarterback position specifically, not any other position, only quarterback. What quarterback do you think in the NFL has been the most disrespected?
In history?
Yeah.
It's a good one.
Oh, it's a damn good one. And I bet you I got an answer that you probably won't say. And I bet you my facts will back it up.
You saying disrespected? Are you saying like they're a Hall of Famer too?
In the history of the game,
I'm asking you.
In the history of the game,
quarterback What quarterback in the NFL does not get the respect for which he deserves?
I think Drew Brees.
I say Dan Marino.
I say Drew Brees.
Interesting. Now I'm going to ask you the follow-up question to your answers, and then I'm going to give you my answer. And then we'll see where we are at the end of it. And if you're in the comments section, please put you think is the most disrespected quarterback in the NFL, the history of the NFL. Who do you think is the most disrespected quarterback in the history of the NFL? Put that in the comments. And then when I give you my answer after they give me their explanations, I want to see what you think of my answer.
I think
Put that in the
disrespected.
comments. So hold on. So
I
Deontay, you said Drew Brees.
Absolutely.
Why?
Drew Brees, he's one of the best quarterbacks to never win an MVP. He's honestly the only quarterback to throw for the most 5,000 yards in a season. He really brought that New Orleans Saints, which was that everybody talk about the Saints. Like the Saints, I know you watched them growing up, Jay and Chris. The Saints were bad for a very long time.
Oh, yeah, they were. They were freaking horrible.
And Drew Brees came from there from Los. I'm not saying this because I'm a diehard Chargers fan. I promise you I'm not. I was actually okay with Drew Brees being gone, and I like Phillip, but I still love Phillip till this day. But Drew Brees, it's just he came from Los Angeles of a career-threatening injury, and he brought a franchise and he brought a different game to his whole nother level. And if they gave him a defense during the prime of his careers, I think he would be a lot more recognizable. But I would say Drew Brees is the most disrespected. Drew Brees is the most disrespected. And I honestly think it's close. And he's a Super Bowl MVP, and nobody puts him in the top 10. I think Drew Brees is a top 10 quarterback to ever live. But people would say,
oh, we're in the top. Okay, if you're going to say top 10, that's very, very, very general. Where in the top 10 would you put him?
Dang, you got me on that one.
Yeah, I did get you on that one. Why don't you think about that for a minute? I'll come back to you because I don't want you to give a rash decision. I want you to think about where you put him in that top 10. And I'm going to blow your mind with my answer, so I hope you put some careful consideration where you think you put Brees. Gonzo, I'm sorry. I apologize. I forgot who your pick was. Say your pick again and then the reason why.
I said Dan Marino. And the reason I said
Dan Marino.
The reason I say Dan Marino is because he nobody talks about him because he never got the Super Bowl. But if you look at he held over 40 NFL single season and career passing records. Dude was probably he might be the best quarterback to never get a Super Bowl. And I think the reason he got disrespected was because he never got that Super Bowl, and we put so much on getting your Super Bowl.
I think he is the best quarterback to never win.
But so and you never hear nothing about him.
We don't give a damn about never won. If that's your answer, I'm gonna tell you right now. If you come at me and your answer is the best quarterback that never won.
Wait. I said,
no, if that's your answer, I'm gonna blow you apart. Look, so please reconsider not saying the best quarterback.
Are you gonna say Troy Aikman, Jay?
No, I'm not. Actually, no, I'm not.
Thank you.
He had the record for
Troy. Although I will tell you, Troy was a great fucking quarterback. He will not be my answer. I'm just telling me if your answer is the best quarterback that didn't win a Super Bowl.
That's not my answer. My answer was he's held over 40.
Come with it.
40 records, single season records. The dude has been an All-American, All-Pro. The only thing he didn't get was that Super Bowl. I think he's one of the most disrespected because you never hear nothing about him anymore. But no, I'd be my choice would be Dan Marino.
And I'll put Drew Brees at 8 or 9. At the prime, if I ask people in their careers and if I had to start with quarterback, Drew Brees would be my 8 or 9 in my top 10.
Man, you guys are so off, but I'm about to educate the shit out of y'all. Okay.
Hold on.
No, hold on. I'm gonna tell you right now.
Want me to give you some numbers?
Hold on. Well, okay, Gonzo. Did you have more to your argument? Because I already heard Deontay's argument for Drew Brees. Is that the end of your argument for your guy?
Yeah. Marino was an MVP. He was Offensive Player of the Year, Comeback Player of the Year. Walter Payton a Walter Payton player, man of the year, 3-time first team All-Pro, 3-time second team All-Pro, 9-time Pro Bowler, 5-time led the league in passing yards, 3-time led the league in touchdown passes. He led the NFL in passer rating leader for a season. He was on the 100th anniversary all-time team. I mean, dude's done, like I said, everything but win a Super Bowl. But let's hear yours.
A big thing, Gonzo. We're talking about best quarterbacks.
No, you didn't say best. You
I'm
said
not- hey,
no. You
look,
didn't say best
hey,
quarterback.
look,
You said most
Hey,
disrespected.
Gonzo, I'm gonna tell you right now, Gonzo. Listen to me
You
for
didn't
a
say
second
best
now.
quarterback though. You said most disrespected. You didn't say best
Yeah,
quarterback.
if you
Oh,
do
no,
best quarterback,
no. I know what I said, and then when I make my argument, you're gonna understand what I'm saying. Yes, Dan Marino was a great quarterback. I was there. I lived it. I saw the Coca-Cola commercials that Dan Marino made. Joe Montana made for the 49ers because those were the two guys going against it. We all were there. We saw it first freaking hand. And I'm going to tell you right now, you're not a bigger fan in the world of Dan Marino than this guy. I saw Dan Marino, and my heart bled for Dan Marino when he never got the championship that I was hoping he would get. So I understand where you're coming from. When we're talking Dan Marino, I get that. But, and I hate buts because but cancels out everything you said in the beginning. And I don't want to cancel it out. So maybe I don't say but. Maybe I say the word however. However, there is a young gentleman. Maybe you know him, maybe you don't. If you don't know him, I suggest you reevaluate your podcasting life. But the gentleman I'm going to mention is another guy named Terry freaking Bradshaw. Now, if you must listen to my rant, I will tell you. Terry Bradshaw has 4 Super Bowls, more than Montana, more than anybody else other than Thomas Patrick Edward Brady. So Edward Brady is the GOAT. I don't deny that one bit. But what I hate more than anything else in this world is when people bring up consistently Drew Brees or Joe Montana or, in this case, what's it, Dan Marino? Dan Marino. By the way, if you don't have a Super Bowl attached to your name, it's very hard for me to ever remember who the hell you freaking are. I'm going to be honest with you. If you don't have a Super Bowl attached to your name, I really have a hard time remembering who you were. And if I can't remember who you were, that means you really didn't account for too hell of a lot in the NFL.
Jay, I was
No.
Super Bowl is a team sport.
No, you're going to let me finish because I did not interrupt anybody. I give you max opportunity to say everything you wanted to say. Now, listen to me. I'm going to say what I want to say.
Okay.
And then after I'm done, if you have a rebuttal, absolutely. You can rebut anything I say all day, every day. Nobody's going to deny that. But when a man has 7 fucking Super Bowls, or excuse me, 4 Super Bowls to his name, but yet we never mention his name. We mention Breeze all day, twice on Sunday. Every now and then I might hear an old historian, Gonzo, probably somebody of his age will bring up Dan Marino from those old school days, whatevers. By the way, if you must know, Warren Moon had more passing yards than Dan Marino. But we don't take the CFL into consideration now, do we? We only take the NFL. So if we go by NFL, Dan has it. But if we go by CFL, NFL combined, Warren Moon buries him twice. It's all good.
He buried Bradshaw.
I'm
He buried Bradshaw in
not
passing yards
even
too.
done yet. I didn't interrupt nobody. I let you say everything you had to say.
I'll let you talk. Hey,
I didn't interrupt nobody.
Hey, hold on a second. I'll let you talk, but we got to speed it up a little bit because we got about 5 minutes.
Okay, damn it. At the end of the day, nobody talks about motherfucking my boy, the Steelers. Terry Bradshaw. Four Super Bowls.
I love Bradshaw.
But he never, ever, ever gets put into conversations. And if that's not disrespect, I don't know what it is. Okay, I'm done. Be quiet.
No, I agree. I agree with you. He's the one that gets disrespected too. I agree with that. He should be talked about more.
To your argument, you're trying to bring up 4 Super Bowls. So, all right, we're gonna do this with Terry Bradshaw. I think Bradshaw.
No, we can't do it. Damn it, we're almost out of time. You missed your opportunity when you had the first.
Bradshaw has 210 touchdowns.
Damn it,
and
Gonzo's in charge of the show, and he
interceptions.
said you had your time to speak.
Yeah,
you can bring it on tomorrow. Hey, watch this. Today is Tuesday, so Wednesday, Deontay, you can talk about it.
Let's get to our final thoughts. Real quick.
That's my final thought.
Well.
Hey, all I'm saying is what a time to be alive. I love everybody here, by the way. Gonzo, I like how you told me that I was a very long speaker, and basically you told me in a very polite way to shut the fuck up, and I appreciate it. You're a very nice person. You're much better than what Tony or Brian would have said to me, or even Frankie for that matter. So, cheers. Deontay, I love you. You believe I love you, Deontay. I hope you believe I love you.
I know. Love you too, Jay.
What you got your cup, Jay? Are you feeling good yet?
No, it's just some Diet Coca-Cola, man.
You're waiting for the diet, aren't you?
No, I told you. Hey, from here on out, the wife, I am not allowed to have alcohol in my apartment. In other words, what I mean by that is she comes to my house, she fills up 1 cup, and then she says, that's it. That's all you get. Tomorrow I'll be back to fill it up again. So I'm on a very regulated alcohol diet, if you must say. But, man, what a time to be alive. I'm just – look, my thing about it is, honestly, Gonzo, is I feel like we talk about Brady so much that he's the GOAT, but we forget about what Bradshaw and his 4 Super Bowls meant. Yeah. And I feel like sometimes he gets often overlooked as somebody who didn't really matter. Like we talk about so much about Patrick Mahomes and so much other, but the guy had 4 damn Super Bowls, but we don't even talk about Bradshaw like he never existed.
Yeah, no, I agree.
He had 8 Hall of Fame players on his team.
Okay, what's your you know what, man?
Let's get our final thoughts.
We're going to final thoughts. You know what, Deontay? Talk about the final thoughts.
We can reconvene this conversation tomorrow. But
he's got the money line, is what he's saying. Hurry up.
You got.
All
right, you already give your final thought, Jay?
Hey, look, I'm gonna make it real simple. My final thought is go Yankees. I hope you win the championship. We go against Astros. Other than that, Deontay, I love you. I hope I didn't offend you. Same thing with Chris Gonzalez. And if I did, beep, bop, and boop.
What's your final thoughts, Deontay?
Chargers 4-2. That's a good thing. And Jay, I'm gonna just let you have that. Terry Bradshaw, I could pick that whole argument apart because I understand you got 4 Super Bowls.
You know what? Contact me in Messenger.
He has 4 Super Bowls, but you forget Lynn Swann, Franco Harris, John Stallworth, Mel Blount. Like I could keep going. Mike Webster, Jack Ham, Jack Lambert, Chuck Knox. He has 210 touchdowns and 210 interceptions, 51% completion percentage in the 70s. I could keep going. Best defense ever.
Do you see the emoji I'm giving
Led the league in interceptions a few times.
Hold on.
It's like Eli. It's like Eli. Is Eli a Hall of Famer to you then? How good was Eli then? Because that's why I say Terry Bradshaw. He's basically Eli, just with a better team.
Deontay, I tell you what, let's do this. And Gonzo, if you may, because I know you got to get out of here. You got money line. Let's just make this short and sweet, Deontay. How about we just do tomorrow's episode straight quarterback related? Let's go. We'll have all day.
We can do that. We can do that.
We'll have a whole hour to talk about quarterbacks if that's the case. So let's put a pin. Let's put a pin in this argument, and we'll pick it back up tomorrow, Deontay. Mike,
No problem. No problem.
God, son of a bitch.
That sounds
Be
good
quiet.
to me.
Just shut up, Deontay. Damn.
I brought logical facts.
Hey, Deontay, I love you, but shut up so Gonzo can get us out of here. Damn it. I love you, Deontay.
Love you too, Jay.
No, hey, all right, that'd be fun. But no, I appreciate Jay joining us, Deontay joining me today. All right, I have a blast doing this show. This show's fun. But we will see you guys tomorrow. We'll see you guys tomorrow.
Yeah, this is just Diet Coke, by the way. Oh, what a time to be alive.
All Sports All Plays Network. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all that good stuff. We'll see you guys tomorrow, 1 p.m. Eastern, with another episode of the ASAP Afternoon Blitz. Have a great day and stay safe.
All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. All sports, all plays. 365, we making a plays. You talking the game, get you through the days. We're high in the court, the dime in the lane. Variety topics, living the same. All presentation, sports information. In the airways, taking the nation. All sport, all plays, like working your faces. Grace at the field, so tie the laces. All sports, all plays.